Hello and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. Our observance of the summer solstice reaches its dramatic conclusion this week as we finish our Old Gods of Appalachia one-shot. Hello and welcome. I'm Robin, your old GM of Appalachia, and joining me are...
Hi, I'm Adam, and I'll be playing Edith Ed Eaton, who is mighty consternated.
Hey, I'm Drew, and I'll be playing Fielden Cladwell, a beholden speaker who cannot escape the darkness and is feeling somewhat consternated as well-wise.
Hi, I'm Dez, and I will be playing Silas Greenaw, who knows one spell, and it is push.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I will be playing Bascom B.B. Burton, a charming sage who knows Jack. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, even if I have to start at the top.
Thank you, players. Now for our usual disclaimer. Old Gods of Appalachia is a horror anthology podcast. Our foray into its tabletop universe, therefore, also contains folk and ecological horror goodness. A full list of content warnings can be found in the episode notes. For those of you that enjoy a cold glass of plot refresher, BB and Silas have been steeping what happened last time in a glass jar under the summer solstice sun. Why don't you pour us all a glass?
Well, we started off by trying to find Cassie. And Fielding and Ed were talking past each other, and I put together something that, well, I don't understand it, I just know how to do it. And hit it with my hammer, like I knew I was supposed to. And a spring popped up and started running in a particular direction. So we followed it.
Some mighty impressive percussive maintenance there. But yeah, we followed it and found our way in the edge of a stream with some mighty trees hanging over the banks there, and there's something strange beneath those waters. I had a flash of a sudden vision and managed to, after recharging an artifact, see through those waters to what was hiding beneath. The body of the missing girl, woman really, Cassie, who it seems had been struck down in the midst of an argument with the elder fellow.
This prompted more tongue wagging from, well, several of us. And this rightly set off Amelia. And from there we got back to the house, since we knew what had happened. When we arrived, Ed tried to be delicate in describing what was going on, and BB was less delicate.
Yeah, well, you say delicacy. I think that Ed was kind of beating around the bush, and there's a time to be circumspect about what one knows, but if we're trying to lay our cards on the table and let the young lady decide what she wants to do with the information, she's got to have the information. That's what I thought anyway, so I assumed that Ed was on the same page and had already said something about what was going on, but from the young woman's reaction, I see that that's not the case. And then Lizzie had suggested that we go talk to Pa Silas direct, to get to the bottom of things and perhaps do some confronting about what's going on. Meanwhile, not for nothing, but Laurelyn Ward mentioned that she has some ideas on how to get rid of a snake if it comes to that.
And that's exactly where we'll pick up. You've just broken the news to Lizzie. She thought you were mad, but started to come around eventually, and she seems determined to march out to see Pa. Laura had just dropped a bomb on you, so to speak, with a knowing gleam in her eye and her usual look of irritation.
Well, in that case, I suggest that we go and talk to Pa Gallows. Seems as good a place to start as any.
Yeah, I'm probably already kind of in that direction by way of trailing after Lizzie in an ironically duckling-like fashion.
Yeah, she's gathered up her skirts and is marching with determination out of the bridal suite. I take it everyone follows her. Amelia and Laura also tag along, but they bring up the rear of the party.
I follow in a way that I hope looks like leading.
Fantastic. In due time, you cross that ribbon that they had divided the upper banister with and the line of flower. Lizzie almost takes glee as she breaks through the ribbon, kicks the flower, breaks that symbolic line separating groom from bride prior to their holy matrimony, and marches into the groom chambers where Pa sits waiting. His jaw falls and his face slackens as the group of you enter. It's clear that he expects that something else has happened. You can hardly blame him. He just lost a brother, and with the roaring of the cicadas pressing in on Timble Manor, everyone's feeling a little claustrophobic. So he looks at whoever's out front of you all and goes, what's going on? You're not supposed to be back here, darling.
I am, at this point, content to let Lizzie do her thing.
Yep.
Agreed. She
glances at all of you as though to ensure that she is going to be the one to speak up about this, because she doesn't seem quite sure where to start. And she rests a hand on Pa's shoulder and she says, Pa, pardon my language, but what the hell is going on? These people just told me that there was a deal with a demon snake, and Pa's face just crumples at this. But he last minute tries to snatch up his expression and rein it in a little bit to seem like he was not bothered by it. He's like, oh, what nonsense is this? There's no demon snake.
Flat stare past Lizzie at Pa. Not, hostile, just deadpan from me.
Now, if I may, at the risk of being terribly presumptuous during what is most certainly a trying time, I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for the insectoid pressing upon this lovely day. But you said there was no demon snake. You did not, I cannot help but notice, say that there is no deal.
He stammers again, wrings his hand a bit. Who have you been talking to? Who told you about this?
I will just kind of laconically say, the snake.
Goes by old Copperhead.
The color drains from his face. You didn't buy in, did you?
Not sure we were given the opportunity, as a matter of fact.
He slowly reaches up and grabs Lizzie's hand, looks her deep in the eyes and says, Lizzie, darling, you were never supposed to be part of this. You weren't even supposed to know. So it's true? He nods.
Yeah, a wedding is always about more than just the bride and the groom. It's bringing together of this and of
I
that.
step on his toes pretty hard.
I glare, then I take the note and shut up.
a picture of politicianal grace.
I guess since the news is out there, what do you want to know?
What else do you want to tell, Pa Gallows?
Look, everything I've done has been done for my family and for the community and for the Lord above all else. I'm a God-fearing man just like the rest of us lot here today. And I had no choice in it. It started with my mom and pa. They traded for the land from the Cherokee. Horse, some blankets, mirrors. And from how protective the Cherokee were of it, they thought it was going to be a fertile land, apt for farming. Sure for them to make their living and turn their lot around. But nothing would take to the soil. And the pain of that loss woke something that had been ruminating below. That thing you met, that thing that calls itself Old Copperhead. It appeared like a copperhead to them, but not. It struck a deal with him and sealed it with its bite. It could force the land to produce bountiful crops and make us filthy rich, but at a cost. So Ma and Pa provided it with offerings, often in the form of livestock or deer or, well, anyone that stood in their way, which I don't agree with. But we were all deceived. Blood might have been enough to sustain the beast, but really hungered for pain and fear. The Cherokee had managed to keep it contained for centuries, to bind it. But their pain at losing the land, the pain of my mom and pa at finding the land sterile, and the grief of the laborers who were torn from their homeland and families to build this place on their behalf caused the serpent to grow. And as it grew hungrier. I bring this all up to say we never meant to harm anyone. We were just trying to survive. We thought we might, by God's grace, turn this blight into a blessing. We tried to keep the deals limited, only to the patriarchs of each generation. Only they would take the serpent's venom. The rest would be left out of it. The deal were broken, or if the serpent dies, the venom's gonna run its course, sweetheart. We keep the serpent alive, and it keeps us alive. But it's gotten ambitious as of late. Which is why we made that deal with the Ward family, to wedge you off to them. Wants to take over these lands, and its hunger has grown to the point that we're running out of stock to feed it.
It talked about wanting to get at the below ground through the wards. Not just fobbing the problem off, but making it worse. I don't want nothing to happen to anybody, but we don't always create the problems we inherit, and this has gotten out of hand.
Ed, you've been a family friend for a while, but what do you propose we do? If we let whatever this is, and he gestures to the cicadas and their sound looming overhead, pelting the roof like many drops of rain, take over, then we're all done for.
Well, can't say as I rightly know what the, and I gesture much as he did, what they intend. When I tell you, my inclination is to figure out some way to make some snakeskin. Figure best way to keep it from calling things due is get rid of it entire. Can't guarantee is that'll slake the ire of whatever's swarming us out there, but, well, be one problem gone. But then you ask me, that's me.
It seems that cicadas were called by Cassie after your brother killed her.
My Mind your tongue, young man. My brother was an honorable and God-fearing man. This whole community looks up to him.
Am I known to not speak the truth, Pa?
You're known for speaking the truth, but not to spit on the names of the newly dead.
It seems to me that he killed her and she killed him.
He burrows his face in his hands for a moment and kind of waves you off. And after a pause, he rolls up the sleeve, unbuttons the sleeve of one of his shirt arms and rolls it up and shows you on his forearm 2 puncture marks, a snake bite. Says, what Atticus did is neither here nor there right now. What matters is the fact that if that snake dies, so do the lot of us that have this bite. Lizzie gasps at the sight of it. It's a purple thing. It's healed, but also not healed. Inflamed, but dormant.
I bring up the cicadas because, from what we gathered, they are a force opposed to that snake in the way that, say, night is opposed to day.
And I said what I said. If they are allowed to run their course and take out the snake, then all of us who took the venom are going to die. This whole community is going to have to uproot themselves and move God knows where.
It's just like a snake to tighten the coils that way. Either you kick the stone down the road and allow the problem to build and grow larger, become even more indebted to this thing as it grows stronger, or you face death, nip the problem in the bud, but at a great cost.
Eventually, the snake's going to have too much of hunger for the community to support it. The community's going to die anyway.
Living out in the holler by himself ain't for everybody, but them as wish to stay, I can help. And I shrug kind of helplessly.
I am polishing my trod-upon shoe and still remaining in sullen silence.
Now, I wouldn't imagine that the Cherokee are particularly inclined to help us with this situation, but you mentioned that they had some way of containing the beast. That makes me curious. Gives me hope that at least it can be done, even if we don't know how.
Pa snorts. And he says, I don't know what those, uses a slur that I won't repeat on air, did to keep that thing contained. Ain't no way we're talking to him now. They've long left these lands. But he looks at Ed. You have a bit of the gift, don't you, kid?
A gift, I suppose.
Maybe if we find a way to contain it. Well, that's a loophole. It keeps living, so do I, so does my family. The community may still have to move, but at least they won't do so with more death on their heels.
I nod. And I'm kind of look to see, just try to get a gauge of Lizzie and then Amelia while I ponder. I'm assuming Lizzie is maybe a little shell-shocked looking, but I kind of want to check in on those two.
Lizzie is holding her dad's hand like it's a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly looks shell-shocked, pale. There's thoughts racing behind her eyes, a look of determination, but you can't tell which way her thoughts are going.
Mm-hmm.
Amelia is standing strategically to the back
Mhm.
with that practiced sort of invisibility that comes naturally to servants, her arms crossed. You've been with her long enough to notice that she looks pissed.
Mhm.
I don't blame her.
Laura
Mm.
is smirking.
Naturally. So having done this, I'm gonna try to give Pa Gallows my most serious and sincere expression that I can conjure. And say, sir, I do know something here and there, how the green hereabout works. But I don't want to give you the idea that I have mastery over anything. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best for these folks, for your family, for you. I don't know what's going to happen.
Ain't none of us here that have mastery over anything. All we've done is the best we can. That's all I've done. I hope you understand. He looks specifically at Cladwell with this last statement.
Well, I'm all for a solution that doesn't involve the wanton destruction of the entire region, I say, smiling less helpfully than I probably intended.
I sort of shake my head a little bit and go, well, and I suppose as a little bit of an out of character note here, I am vibing this out, but Robin, feel free to correct me if I say something that I in character would know to be incorrect about the green.
Okay.
Say, the green notoriously difficult to bargain with, but it accepts, help for its goals, and it certainly don't like that snake any. So I think maybe we got a shot, nothing else. And something.
I sort of shake my head as though I'm shaking off a long practiced habit, and I say, "Well, all right, I know a thing or two about bargaining, and well, here's the thing to keep in mind: ain't no going back, only forward, only deeper. There's no turning around with this kind of thing, you understand? If we're looking to make a deal, the deal we make is going to be a deeper deal and a more pervasive deal than the deal we're trying to undo. There's no undoing. That's one thing I can say with authority."
I nod slowly.
The way to undo a deal is to break it and face the consequences.
If we're trying to avoid that, and I nod at Pa Gallows' arm, then, under those circumstances, much as it pains me, I think Cladwell's probably correct. But I will say this, that for all of the uncompromising hostility, and I gesture in the direction of the cicada noises, that the green can sometimes display, having an accord with the very land upon which community lives is not wholesale a bad thing. So, all I can promise, and I kind of look at Lizzie for this, is that I will do my best for you. But it's a tall order. Your forebears saw to that.
I appreciate
Lord.
that. You have until dusk, until this thing gets strong enough to kill that damn snake.
I nod and I think probably get my eye caught by BB.
Well, Laura Lynn, you're known to be a healer. Is there anything that you can do for this terrible venom that runs through multiple veins here?
She crosses her arm, a sour expression on her face. No. Sure can't. That's a deal made by the old compacts and the new. But I know someone who might be able to help. Got out of a deal herself, but she won't like it.
Well, I feel like any and all options should be on the table, so we can decide which we want to do.
And we do have a little bit of a hurry on.
She taps her foot, stares off into the distance. Right, all right. I think this is a worthy situation as any to call on a favor. I call her daughter Dooley, the Witch Queen. She's known around these parts as. And have a way to reach her, too. She pulls out a single thing of chalk from a pocket on her belt. We'll have to be fast about it, though.
Then let's do. And I give Lizzie just like kind of a as comforting a little pat on the shoulder, as I can, and say, we'll do our best, and then put my attention on Laura Lynn.
Lizzie nods at you. I think I'll stay here with my pa if that's okay.
I just nod.
So Laura Lynn walks to one of the solid walls, one of the few unadorned spaces in this room, and draws with the chalk a rectangle on it. And the wall shimmers. You don't quite see what's on the other side, but you have the sense that she's drawn a door.
So, okay, I've read only the parts of the rulebook that our esteemed GM instructed me to read, but I do have a question. In character, does the phrase Witch Queen mean anything to me?
Yes. I'm so glad you asked. That darkness within you coils back in what you can only describe as fear if something as dark and primal and ancient as that thing could experience fear.
I love that.
I get a contact high of its fear, but I also, perhaps unexpectedly to myself, am slightly excited. I would say hopeful, but I'm not sure I describe feelings I have quite that way.
Incidentally, Robin, how do I feel about what Cladwell feels? So much.
You don't want to walk through the door. You feel that compulsion to stay away from the witch.
I think that emboldens me to walk through the door.
Fantastic. As you do, you kind of feel a weird tingling sensation as you pass through where the wall ought to be. You distantly hear with a strange reverb Laura sternly tell Pod, make sure no one erases this line or so help me. And then that's the last that you hear before you emerge on the other side. Do the rest of you follow?
I do.
I do. I think I'm actually going to tell Libet to just sort of like keep an eye, basically just like wait here till I come back, but here happens to be where Lizzie is. But then I will go through. Yeah, by coincidence, no big deal.
I do follow, and I say, as to an observer, except perhaps Silas, it would seem to no one in particular, I say, no, we're not scared now, are we?
So you pass through the door. It's a strange sensation. You don't feel any differently than as though you took a single step, but the entire world falls from around you, and you step into a clearing in the middle of the woods with the rush of your ears popping from a change in altitude. The sound of the river and cicadas have dropped altogether to a normal summer's day. The trees around you are far, far older than the ones that you just left back outside of Temple Manor. And you're almost overcome by the smell of rotten cucumber and mammal musk, the pish-pish of songbird warnings, the warning chuff of bears, the distant rattle of a canebrake, snake. All give you a feeling of unease, as though the woods are trying to tell you that this place isn't safe. At the center of the clearing, there's a humble house, a cabin. Smoke plumes up from the chimney, and the front door is wide open, almost as though you're expected.
I look around, just see if there's anything that would give me my bearings, or more specifically, unseen threats, but otherwise the door seems like the clear path forward.
I try to gauge whether what the thing inside me is afraid of is what's in the cottage.
Yes.
I'm
You
headed
also have the
toward the
sense-
cottage based on this.
Excellent. You also have the sense that you've somehow passed through a barrier that the thing inside of you has not been able to pass through. So you all head to the cabin. Laura Lynn takes the lead, uttering a small "this way," swearing under her breath in a most unladylike fashion as she trudges across the high grass.
Yeah, follow. Wordlessly, in my case.
I'm probably muttering to myself in a disconcerting fashion. It's like, well, God, without an explanation, I can hardly tell why we're going through all this tumult. I suppose we have to see what's inside. Yes.
Those of you who are touched by the green, I'm going to have you roll your gift stat, and that is either intelligence or might. Could be of your choosing.
And I guess it's going to be intellect on my end. Feel like I'm probably going to apply a level of effort here for 3 for my pool to ease it by a step.
Excellent.
Just out of some paranoia.
Generally, not fucking up magic-related rolls is a good decision for living.
Yeah. So that takes my intellect pool down to 7, and the roll was a 13.
Oh, geez. Okay. Excellent. So, as you walk, you kind of feel that familiar presence of the green press in, for lack of a better phrase. Kind of like someone might bump elbows to reassure a friend that they're there, and as that sensation overcomes you, the threatening aura drops.
Ooh.
Nick, did you want to roll?
Oh, I wasn't sure whether I was connected to the green. I did in fact roll a 13 for my d20.
Okay, excellent. The same experience happens to you. But you both feel like you're being observed. And you perhaps feel like you're being watched from behind. If you decide to look over your shoulder, what you see is probably the largest bear that you've ever laid eyes on, watching from a distance. Its posture seems at ease, like it's simply an observer, a sentry almost, watching over this clearing. But it doesn't seem inclined to move. So you enter the cabin. It's rustic and dark. There's a bright fire burning in the under the hearth. A pot sits upon it, but in a rocking chair just inside this living room sits the young russet-haired woman that Silas, you saw at the wedding. There's a woolen shawl wrapped around her shoulders. She peers down at you with sharp green eyes that are too old for her youthful face and know too much. She looks regal somehow, and your mind, unbidden, refers to her as royalty, as a queen, in the same thought that it condemns her as a witch. When she speaks, it's with a thick Scottish accent and a sharpness that startles you. I'm not going to try to do a Scottish accent on air, so you're just going to have to use your imaginations here. You've gotten yourselves in a right mess, haven't you?
We found a right mess and we involved ourselves.
I just nod.
I'm not here to split hairs. It's not often that folks may could pass my wards to my clearing. What brings you here?
I will kind of glance at Laura Lynn, but say, we had an encounter with something calling itself Old Copperhead and are trying to navigate the complexities of the situation as much as we can. We were hoping we might be able to beseech your aid.
She half spits on the ground. More of a symbolic spit than an actual spit at the name Old Copperhead. My aid. I cannot intervene. I haven't had the strength. Been through some things lately myself, but perhaps I can point you in the right direction.
Knowledge would be as valuable as anything you could provide us with. And speaking for myself, I ain't expecting anything just out of the goodness of your heart, though I don't know what we have that would be valuable to you. Just treat you with candor. I understand that it used to be sealed up somehow, and that its bargains have some force behind them. We could abrogate the bargain, that'd be great. We could bottle it up, that'd be great. Could do both, that'd be the best. But honestly, and I just kind of look at my companions, trying to figure out our options.
Since the comment that we're not sure if we have anything of value to the Witch Queen, my eyes have been getting darker and darker. And if I were to give the thing behind them the opportunity to speak and it chose not to, that would be unprecedented. But I give it that opportunity.
It chooses not to speak. If anything, you feel it withdraw further. And you hear in your own head, stay away from the witch. And in that moment, even though it doesn't speak out loud so that everyone else can hear, and even as your eyes darken, you suddenly have clarity that this individual, this witch queen, who is presented to you as a force of the green, is also a force of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose on the topic of candor, if I may, and I mean no offense, but you and I may be uniquely situated to know that, well, the darkness and the green are not really so separate as all that. Opposed, often, perhaps, but not unmixable.
She looks at you sharply. The green of her eyes burning incandescently, and the room feels like it shrinks around you. Don't speak of things so casually that you know little about.
My apologies, I am a politician after all.
Ma'am.
Speaking of things we know little about, casually and otherwise, that's the job.
It may...
I meant no offense, as I said.
And I try to have my little pause there, shut Cladwell up. It may also be worth noting that we were given to understand that you had some expertise in the undoing of contracts, or at least the escapement of them. And I will nod minutely toward Cladwell.
Those green eyes dart to you, Silas. Still sharp. still affronted by the presumptions and the implications of your words, but they soften as they find purchase on your face. She recognizes you. She remembers you from when you made eye contact at the reception or the wedding. And her lips curl upwards.
Dangerous.
Deals by the old compacts can't be undone so easily, and often at a cost that you're unprepared to pay. But you have the gift about you. And you seem to have some sharp wits in the group. Though it may not apply to all of you. She looks at Gladwell with that last comment.
I'm still accepting the compliment. I didn't even hear the second part.
If I were you, I would look to bind the thing. Can't hope to kill it. It sounds like there might be a breach of the old compacts, and that might draw attention of far worse things. Fortunately for you, old Copperhead is a lesser of the evils in that case. She looks again at Gladwell.
If it is not an undue question, I realize I say that as we've asked several undue questions, but could you give a bit more specificity as to the nature of costs one is not prepared to pay?
She rises.
And I will again give that little nod toward Fielding. Hey, Drew, I'm trying to get you out of your bargain whether you like it or not.
My expression, it's not that I don't hear you, it's that there is precisely one half of me trying with all of my strength not to hear what you're expressing. The other half is hungry for it.
Mm-hmm. She rises from her rocking chair sharply. And she's rather diminutive in stature, but she still feels like she towers over you. And for a moment, your vision doubles. There's not just the redhead with the wool shawl of a young age with two old eyes standing before you, but a second dark-haired, undead thing with the babe pressed to her breast. And then the doubling phase, the two merging into one. And you have the sense that she just shared something that you weren't supposed to see.
Mighty personal.
If you're looking to break a bargain, best be mighty careful. Make some friends in high places. And ask the right damn questions.
As a preliminary, what's the right question?
That might have been the wrong question.
That's why I'm asking it here.
The right question is what they're afraid of, and what makes them weak. And whether or not they themselves are whole right now. She looks at Fielding pointedly. But, unbinding up old Copperhead, you'll need a few things in addition to your wit. Won't be easy. You may not succeed at all, but I can tell you what I know. She starts to sweep around her cabin. It's a humble one-room affair with the kitchen, a small pallet shoved in the corner where she sleeps, the fireplace. Starts to gather up some things, namely a blue glass bottle. She sweeps some things into it, a couple of iron nails, some nail clippings, or what you assume are nail clippings, some red string, and passes it to one of you. She just holds it out, expecting one of you to step forward and take it.
I probably will do that. Some alacrity.
Okay. Surprisingly, it's not a cipher she hands you. Just a bunch of inert supplies. The jar has a lid. It's one of those glass corks
Mm.
that kind of fits perfectly into the jar. You can tell that it's been made out of hand-blown glass and old, very old. It's covered in a fine dust. She says, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need old blood, new blood, the blood that woke it, the blood that aspires to it, a circle of protection drawn around these things, and an incantation of your choosing. It's the intention that matters with these things. You can make it rhyme if you want to, but the important thing is that you got to repeat it until the binding is sealed. Most importantly, you need to arrange all these things on an altar. As soon as you start this working, you're going to draw its attention, and it won't work at all while the serpent's at full strength. You're going to have to weaken it, which shouldn't be too difficult. I imagine it's going to try to stop you once you get started.
I'm listening intently and nodding. Unfortunately, I can't type quite as fast as
Yeah,
you're
I'll put it in
speaking.
chat.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I got almost all of it.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, I'm gonna nod. Kind of look intently, nodding, listening, signaling my understanding.
So you accept the jar. She says, once you get all those things, you'll put them in the jar and seal it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's weak enough, then old Copperhead should be bound too.
Well, thank you for the knowledge, for the materials. I don't suppose there's anything we can give you in return.
I tense up.
Things do tend to have prices.
She snorts. No. Anything I could do to rattle the dark a bit is free on my end.
It's mighty generous.
So the cost is just doing what we do.
I nod with increasing assurance and give the Witch Queen kind of a very deferential, kind of like little bow hat tip gesture and say, well, guess I don't aim to impose any more than we already have then. And I kind of glance around at everybody to see if anybody has something they need to get off their chest before we go.
I nod with decreasing assurance.
I would all just like to clarify before we go about these dark deeds. Will those that have taken the venom still die? If by some miracle we pull this off?
If you bind it properly, they shouldn't. The deal's maintained. But if they try to trifle in with the binding, then that's a broach of contract. They'd better stay out of it.
Ah, so those that taken the venom in can't assist us in this ritual in any way?
Afraid not.
Well, that'll make things more interesting. I am very grateful for everything that you've done for us today, and I wish you well the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Good luck, I suppose. You're gonna need it.
Thank you. I kind of motion and start wheeling around to head out.
As everyone else is leaving, I take a step forward, but no more, and I say, next to last thing I ever meant to be there was offensive. Very last I meant to be was casual. Well, didn't mean to make enemies in high places.
No enemies made, but from the looks of you, you've gotten yourself in deep.
You're not wrong. Thank you.
Should have thrown him in the river.
And
As you all take your leave, she at last turns her attention to Laurelin and offers a rare smile. Says, Laurelin, you've grown up nicely. But a wee babe the last time I saw you. Let's hope you don't have further occasion to darken my doorstep. Laurelin nods and shakes her hand And the two, a look of understanding passes between the two, and they part ways.
I suppose once we are out of the cabin and going back to try and get back to the manor, I will sort of murmur to Laura Lynn, thank you for using up a favor on us.
Don't mention it. It's not the first time I've had to help Samuel get out of some mess or another he's gotten himself into.
I nod in understanding and camaraderie.
Before we reach the doorway, I'd also like to speak to my companions and say, well, there's a lot of blood that we have to collect here from various sources, and some of it can't be taken willingly, because otherwise I assume that'll be participating in the ritual, and therefore breaking the contract.
I look thoughtful and nod and go, I suppose if we try and do it, get it willingly but under false pretenses, that probably won't fly, because why else would we be asking for blood at this point?
I suppose there's also the matter of whether only you have your blood, or whether, your blood has your blood.
I mean, I'm assuming both are going to factor in here. The blood that woke it, the blood that aspires to it.
Yeah, we'll need
But
both.
there are those who have the blood that woke it, but did not themselves do the waking. Didn't get bit themselves. They, it seems, could help.
Twere what I meant.
Were they so inclined?
So I take it you make your way back to the tree line.
Mm-hmm.
You would have lost the door were it not for Laurelyn. Just a little bit of an imperfection, like a glimmer out of the corner of your eye. And thankfully, she's there to direct you back, almost retracing your steps through that shimmer in the midst of the old growth forest that you found yourself in. The bear has vanished. I think you hear a man humming in the woods, but that's neither here nor there. Step back through. The same sensation as before. Your ears pop. It feels like you've just taken a single step, and yet you find yourself in a completely different environment. Back in the groom's suite with Pa and Lizzie holding his hand.
Look around at everybody as we pile back in, and then I guess address Pa and Lizzie both and say, well, we got a shot, I suppose. Need to round some things up quick like, and then do our best.
I'm glad to hear it, Lizzie says. Pa nods. He seems to have settled from the initial state of being rattled by the accusations to just a resigned expression on his face.
Works for me. I can work with it. So I'm holding this jar, and I have been deliberately circumspect in my remarks here, and I think I'm gonna try and use what to me probably count as relatively subtle, but to anybody else would be relatively obvious and exaggerated kind of eye gesturing to put the ball in BB's court, because of the two crafty diplomats we've got. There is one I kind of trust, and one that I increasingly suspect it may very well start chanting backwards Latin at the drop of a hat. So.
Yeah, well, I turn towards Pa Gallows with an acknowledgement that there are other people in the room and say, If you'll allow it, Paul, I've got something that I'd like to talk to you about privately, if you'll allow it.
Sure. I suppose that won't be a matter.
All right. Is there a nearby room?
He gestures you further back into the groom suite, through a hallway and a bedroom on the left-hand side.
I say almost absent-mindedly, Ed, you'd better join us too. This concerns you as well.
I, start, nod, and amble over.
Lizzie watches you, Ed, as you pass her.
Uh-huh.
And then she juts out her chin and a gesture that you know very well. A very stubborn reaction.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, anything you have to say to my pa can be said in my presence too. And she storms off after you.
All right.
I'm probably not going to make any gestures to stop her.
Yeah. You've seen that particular body language enough to know that it would be a challenge
No real
to say
stopping.
the least. Yeah.
All right. So once we're behind closed doors, some distance from the rest, I will, if the door has a lock, I'll lock it behind me. And turn to Pa and say, to him and the assembled group, we've got a way perhaps to get you out of this, but you can't help us, and so this next part's going to be difficult.
A diplomat you trust, you say.
So far in character, this tracks for me.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I think that makes one for you.
Yeah.
He looks kind of side to side and to Lizzie, and then back to you, BB. What do you mean?
Ed, make sure he doesn't scream. I pull out a knife.
I will pause for just a second before moving to try and keep Pa quiet while looking at Lizzie and going, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, Lizzie, we just need a little bit of blood. We're not going to kill him.
Pa's holding up his hands and defensively saying, like, hold on now, hold on.
There's
no need for violence.
His hands are conveniently available.
Yeah, I was going to say, one hand probably twisting one of his arms and the other going over his mouth.
You're going to have to roll might.
I'm sure I am.
He is going to...
Not like that very much. Let's see. In theory, this is going to be the kind of thing that I'm pretty okay at, but dice have a tendency to
fail,
surprise us in those regards.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Must go up,
so,
but don't always.
This being a whole finale thing, I am going to put some effort into it. I've got edge of 1 in might, so that's only going to take 2 from my pool to put 1 level of effort in it, leaving me with 6 might, and easing the task by 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll this here D20.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, not
and
great.
For what it's worth, I would like to collaborate in acquiring that blood. I'm not sure if that helps him in any way.
So yeah, you can use your action to help. I'm not going to make you do initiative because this isn't full combat.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll stay that way. Question mark.
Yet.
But you can use your action to help, and that will ease it by a step.
That's good because I rolled a 3.
Ooh, okay. So equal 2 also counts. It was eased 2 steps because you applied effort and have
help
assistance from BB. But I was speaking with Des at the beginning of the session about how I've been bad about GM intrusions.
Uh-huh.
So you managed to get a hold of Pa and restrain him, But he effectively does that cartoon thing where he drops and you find yourself holding his jacket instead.
Okay. That's good. That's great.
So you're getting an experience point from that intrusion, but you also have an experience point that you can award to another player.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes the most sense.
Dez is very hopeful.
I'm not there. It would not necessarily make sense for you to award it to me, other than my having given Robin the idea. I would not say no.
I was going to say, I feel like it makes the most sense to award that point to BB, who was helping me with it.
Assisting.
Yeah.
So you may have...
No, that I think is just and proper.
I'd like
Silas at this moment, Silas is being talked at. He's saying, so I assume they took him in there to explain to him and to Lizzie that it's a very clever riddle, really. They just need her blood, which she can give willingly because her blood is his. This thing will be sorted out in no time.
I am looking at Silas like he is dumber than everyone thinks I.
Meanwhile, I'd like to...
Right.
To be fair, I, in and out of character, did not think so, because there are 4 kinds of blood needed here, and so I was
blood seemed defined more as a person's blood rather than a person's kin.
Well, I was definitely thinking it both ways, but because there's 2
it's ambiguous. Look, am I willing to bet everyone's lives on this interpretation? No. Is Fielding?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. Also, like, ambiguity on in a contract should be interpreted against the drafter, but that doesn't apply here.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, the drafter is also the arbiter.
Mechanisms are a little tricky.
Yeah, I figured that I didn't want to try to cheat my way out of the way of cheating our way out of a contract.
Right. So anyway,
it seems like a recipe for disaster. I would like to use that point that I just got to use one of my own abilities, nearby presence. I forget the exact kind of wording for how these things, but the counter intrusion, kind of using an experience point to trigger an ability. So I'd like to use nearby presence, which can ease an ability, buy some time, or protect. And so I would like to call upon the spirits of this place to just buy us some time by preventing Pa from calling out and muffling, perhaps magically, what's going on in this room.
Yeah, so he tries to slip out by doing that cartoonish thing of just shedding his jacket, but he's not as graceful as he'd like to be in his old age. And the spirits he ends up sprawling out on the floor, stumbling over his own feet, what seems to be pure air, but is magical intervention. And the noise is far less quiet than you would expect it to be for a man of his size. And now Pa's on the floor, pathetically trying to scramble away from the crazy person with the knife.
Sure, yeah. I will do my...
I'm assuming I hear some portion of this and how do you think they're doing that?
It's magically muffled. So you hear probably like the Charlie Brown teacherification of Pa's protesting, a dull thud.
I figured we were mostly just getting thuds. I didn't figure words were coming through. Except
it doesn't sound like a man
Brown
hitting the ground. It sounds like a glass being set a little too forcefully on the table.
Which is in character for what's going down.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
I'd like to try to persist in getting some of that sweet, sweet blood.
All right.
How do you know it's sweet?
You assisted last time, so I'm going to have you roll a might roll this time. I will note, because he's prone, that eases it a step, and he's within close proximity to you, so you're going to have a little bit of an easier time getting his blood.
If allowable, and I can understand why it might not be, I will, assist this time as well, and I will, as I do it, also just kind of say in Lizzie's direction, Tarnation, he'll be fine, I promise.
Lizzie is watching this entire scene, just absolutely immobile and shock. Her jaw is on the floor. Yeah. She can't process the fact that both her best friend and BB are attempting to to get blood from her paw.
Yeah.
So you can assist. That'll ease it another step,
Yeah.
which fortunately for you means it's an instant success, Phoebe. So how do you get his blood?
How do you get his blood?
I mean, the way that one normally does, I suppose. No, so I'm going to, yeah, you know what? I've got some plans here, so I guess in the midst of the struggle, I kind of see if I can flip him over onto his belly so that his back is showing, pull up the back, and cut his back so that it's less easy for him to see that he's injured after the fact, because I do
He's
have
already
some other
crawling
plans.
on all fours, so you don't have to flip him over, fortunately for you.
Fair. Yeah, so
you yank up his shirt, I take it, and cut him on the back.
Yeah, and small enough cut. I don't imagine that we need much blood, so I just see if I can collect a bit of blood on a kerchief or something like that, unless I've got some vials of some sort to catch it in.
You got the glass bottle.
Ed does.
Yep, great. Okay.
I was thinking
so
kerchief and
do it
then
in that.
put that in the jar, but we can also just get a couple drops in the jar.
Sure.
That works fine.
Yeah,
You
got
guys
a
know
couple
what you're
drops.
about.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Okay,
you guys
great.
have this under
Yeah,
control.
no.
I didn't even know that.
This went perfectly
this is so
swimmingly. Yeah,
graceful.
All right. So shirt back down, tuck it in,
maybe.
and then I would. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, I maybe even kind of press whatever kerchief you had ready, into the cut, and before we put the shirt back down. We don't want to harm him. We just need blood.
Sometimes
And then-
you just need blood, listeners.
I tell Ed, stand him up, and
Right. I help him.
I lay a hand at the side of Pa's face, and I look over to Lizzie and I say, "Just so you know, there is a way to get your paw through this alive, but I'm about to tell your paw the opposite, and he's not going to remember any of this if this goes right."
All right.
So
Tell me what you're going to do, and I'll tell you what to roll.
yeah, I would like to use my ability, easy forgetting, which is most people have not seen me use this, even those that know me well. But I touch a creature and say the proper words to reach into their mind with a successful intellect roll. You erase up to the last 5 minutes of their memory.
And can you remind me if you're trained or have any sort of...
Yes, I do have an edge in intellect.
Okay.
And I am trained in many things having to do with magic, but not sure what I'm
So
looking
you can
for.
apply the edge to, reduce effort if you so choose, but go ahead and roll.
Yep. So I'd like to, use that edge to reduce the difficulty, and I rolled a 4.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah. So I guess that it is what it is.
So just to make sure, I don't know if it was maybe not me not following. Do you have training in using magic?
Yes.
Skills? Okay. Cool.
And there wasn't any way for me to decrease
Oh.
the difficulty further, was there? Because the
So you
edge
have
does
training in
that
it?
by one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you applied edge or effort.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's a success then.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Good catch.
Thank the old gods.
Yeah, because I think I heard you say that you had an edge in it.
Yeah, I do have an edge, and I have training in understanding and in using magic.
Yeah, you beat it by 1.
Okay.
That was a close one.
Okay. So, reaching into Pa's mind, I just sift out the memories for, the last 5 minutes or so. Pull my hand away, and as his vision clears, I say, Pa, listen, I'm going to tell Lizzie the opposite, but there isn't a way to get you through this alive, so I think that we've got to keep the pact intact. But I think that would upset Lizzie over here, so I'm going to go ahead and tell her the opposite. Go through the motions with the mumbo-jumbo of a ritual, but I think that we got to just kind of keep this thing going.
Well, I thought you said that surely there's got to be a way to bind the thing. He looks at himself and was like, "When did I take off my jacket?"
Nah, I mean, it's mighty hot. It's the height of summer. I don't blame you. Yeah, I saw you took it off just a moment ago. Your mind's on other matters. I don't blame you for forgetting.
He looks confused and a little dazed, but seems
To the room.
fine.
And so, that brings us to the matter of, breaking this, binding this snake back where it belongs, which we will definitely do. But, yeah, I guess I just wanted to, make sure everyone's on the same page. So we've got the ritual in place, and it's definitely going to work. I give Pa a wink. So don't you worry.
He does not look reassured, and he looks worried.
Fortunately, that is a reasonable response to everything that he does and doesn't remember. I'm gonna to give him like a light kind of pat on the shoulder, clutching my jar, and kind of looking at BB, kind of nod back toward the door that we came in through. And in my mind, I am crossing off, blood that woke it in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fair assumption for sure. And now you have to find 3 other sources of blood.
Indeed.
New blood, old blood, and the blood that aspired to it.
And now this is table talk, perhaps, but my as Ed thought is that I'm gonna have an excuse to do a little bloodletting on Lizzie's fiance to get some blood that aspires to it.
Yes, you'll get to do a little bloodletting. I think that's a very good way of phrasing it.
You have an excuse to.
Now, this is real regrettable,
you
but
think not for the first time.
And you are in the groom's suite too.
Exactly. Yeah. So, assuming that everybody's moving that direction, I'm going to go back out into the room that we had initially departed from, and so
has Samuel been in evidence while we've been waiting out here in the groom suite?
He presumably is back in one of the bedrooms.
Sure. Okay.
So I guess the only thing that we really have to consider here is whether or not his cooperation would invalidate the deal, and I don't think it would because they're not married yet, and so he's not got to the
he is not party to the thing. Yeah.
So I will kind of murmur as we're moving back into the space to Lizzie. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to spare you, but wasn't going to get in your way. I got to go talk quickly to your fiance, but then we will be right back and one step closer to doing this thing. And I smile nervously and move back to try and find where the groom is hanging out with my jar in hand.
Lizzie just stares at you and looks. She just is still clearly processing everything that just happened.
Do not blame her that I'm trying to go get this part done before she catches up to events.
Yes. So you.
I sidle over to her and say, well, how much that must have been unpleasant, but you don't look any worse for the wear.
Silas, what were you saying?
In an effort to aid Ed, I'd like to try and distract Lizzie.
Okay.
Ask her how she's doing, see if she needs to, get something to drink, anything like that.
She just nods yes to all of your questions.
Then I will
not yes or no.
I will
question.
offer an elbow for her to take and steer her toward the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
She takes it and walks falteringly with you, clearly not wanting to leave her paw alone with these people.
Once we are out of earshot, I will start up a sort of reassuring. So I assume that BB may have been a bit uncouth with your paw in there. Everything
Real handsy.
I do actually snort in character at that.
I raise an eyebrow.
I'm out of earshot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're out of earshot.
They left the room.
That's true. You pulled her aside. Yeah.
Poor Cladwell. Everyone's just like, let's leave him alone. Distance ourselves.
And, he did this to him.
We were instructed real clear like that anybody who had taken the venom could not assist us in what we're doing, or they would be in violation of their contract, and then, the venom would take its course. So that's why it had to go down like I assume it did.
She wheezes like a balloon, losing its air. Well, why didn't they say that to begin with?
Because that risks your paw going along with it, and thus accidentally invalidate her.
I suppose I understand, but they give him a right start and then stole his memories, and
that's... I don't think I knew BB could do that.
Well, that makes two of us, good sir.
You don't anymore.
Yeah, that tracks.
Um.
So I'll keep that sort of reassurance. Does Lizzie otherwise qualify as any of the flavors of blood? See,
I mean, I think we wouldn't necessarily know that.
Probably new.
I mean,
new blood.
If
Perhaps.
you're going with the Cladwell theorem, then totally. And she's not bit, so she can help us out.
Right.
I mean, my table talk assumption would be that,
I was figuring she'd count as either new blood or aspirational, but I don't think the latter of those quite works as well.
Yeah.
I think she'd just be the new blood.
Yeah.
Because she...
There's no prohibition on your helping with things, since you are not under contract yet, and hopefully will not be. But we do also need several other categories of blood.
I'll give my blood freely, just don't erase my memories of the thing.
I don't know that I can do that, so of course I would not.
Extremely reassuring.
So, as we progress from this discussion to just general, like, making sure that Lizzie gets a drink and is otherwise a mite less perturbed, my question to you, Robin, desperately out of character, does that count as helping Ed for purposes of my character arc?
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
So he'll get 2 experience points.
And so I will immediately spend 4 of the 5 experience points then. I'm really tempted by the other, which refers to the Old Gods of Appalachia book, but I think that is in a part that I was not supposed to read, and therefore I will avoid it unless it amuses Robin sufficiently. I think I will allow myself an extra effort so that I can ease things by 2 steps if and when it becomes necessary.
That's a good choice. So your effort score will increase by 1. Well, we'll jump back to Ed tracking down Samuel.
Yeah, so I'm going through the groom suite, kind of checking rooms to see where Samuel is. I guess I'm not preventing any of the other player characters from coming with me, but I also do not have the expectation that they would. guess it's kind of up to y'all. But presumably there are a limited number of rooms, and I'll find them eventually. May not be a safe assumption, I guess.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we're in a Borges library mansion.
You bang on a few doors, and in time you hear Samuel's gruff voice on the other side going, "What do you want?"
Well, I suppose that I'd like your help saving, at the very least, your father-in-law's life.
He opens the door at that, and at first he looks irritated, but then he seems to put himself back together. And once again steps into the kind of demure lad that you have observed him to be in the past. Eyes lowered. He said, "Pardon me, I thought you were my dad."
I chuckle a little bit and say, well, reasonable guess under the circumstances, and I understand the reaction all too well. No, we're trying to, and I gesture, to the world, put some of this right, and well, it's not easy to ask, and I don't know what's going to come afterward, so I may have been a little presumptuous in calling him your father-in-law, but well, we got some useful information on something we can do to maybe calm everything back down, but we do need well, blood from some folks. Not a lot, but I was wondering if you'd maybe let me get a little from you.
If it'll quiet down this ruckus and help the wedding carry on without further trauma to my would-be wife, I'm happy to lend my assistance.
I give him a, sort of combination appraising and approving look and a nod and say, that's what we're trying to do, and I'm desperately hoping it works. I kind of produce my, like pen knife and just go, just a couple drops in the jar will do, and I'll let you, decide where you want it.
He holds out his finger.
Okay. Yeah, I'll, prick it, briskly but gently, and get a couple drops in there, and, then kind of, pull it back and give him a respectful, kind of almost like man-to-man, like, nod of acknowledgement. And thank you, Samuel. You're probably get this a lot, but a decent sort.
Thank you. It's important to me that this wedding continues for the sake of my family, for our families.
Understand that. And, probably my face goes a little stonier, but I try to be civil. And, wow, leave you to it and appreciate your assistance. And I'm still kind of mumbling as I return.
The door closes behind you.
So yeah, I return with some blood that aspires to it. And that leaves old blood and new blood as I read it. So returning to the sort of, I guess, congregating area where BB and Cladwell and Paul Gallows were when I left them, I kind of gesture at BB with the jar and say, 2 to go.
Give a nod.
Well done.
I make an equivocating gesture with my head.
As soon as Lizzie gets back with Silas, I'm wondering whether she might be able to contribute something of her own to the ritual. That might bring us down to 1.
I nod a little and say, seems like. What about the other?
Now that I've been puzzling over. Not sure whether someone that's already within the bloodline that's been bound but isn't one of those that has venom in their veins would qualify, or whether we're looking for some of the oldest bloodlines that have lived in Appalachia here. Or whether just someone who's very old, not unlike my own self. I welcome your thoughts, Ed, but I can't quite puzzle it out yet.
How old is BB? Sorry?
60s.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I look thoughtful. Well, I don't know how this side of things works, but in my experience, this is all very well symbolical. And so I think it matters whether we think it's relevant. If we can draw a connection. So much as I think it'd be easy and convenient to just gather some of your blood, I don't know that it's related enough to work.
Now, my mind isn't the steel trap it used to be. Did the Witch Queen say that the patriarchs of this line are the ones with the venom in the veins?
I believe that was
Or was
Pa
that
said
Pa?
that. That's a recent innovation, I believe.
In any case, if it is truly the patriarchs, then I wonder whether Meemaw would be willing to contribute. Because that surely is both old in and of herself and from the old bloodline.
I don't know that patriarch policy was in place for her generation. She may be bit, and therefore her willingness may be something of an obstacle, actually.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of holding down an old lady. Bleeding her some. I mean,
standards.
Don't get me wrong, I'll do it. I just don't like the idea.
A true military man.
Well, I suppose that doesn't leave us with a lot to go on.
I realize at this moment that I have been doing something I've never done before, and it occurs to me only now how dangerous it might be. I've been comforting the thing whose name sounds like Horned Head, but is not, ever since it seemed afraid. And at this point, it occurs to me to do what I would normally do in this situation, which is ask it what it thinks is meant by old blood and new blood.
First of all, the comforting was thoroughly ignored. You didn't get any sense of a reaction from that. It felt as though you were a toddler comforting a parent almost about a adult conflict that you could not possibly comprehend. Or at least that's the sort of condescending tone the ignorance somehow took on. But when you ask about old blood and new blood, you don't get a reply in words so much as an understanding that old blood could mean a family that's been in this area for a long time, or a presence that's been in this area for a long time, or simply just old. And that last revelation has another sharp tinge of condescension to it.
Yeah, I conveyed this. We could mean old families. We could simply mean old. I have this on a certain kind of authority. I've yet to experience this particular source lie per se.
Speaking of that, Thor, does the darkness that lies just out of reach have any inkling as to whether this snake can bleed? The thought occurs of binding it with its own blood.
A laugh that's not your own comes out of your mouth, Cloudwell. And you shake your head no.
I sort of sputter. No.
Well, so it
That
seems like we may want to. Well, no, that wouldn't necessarily. If just old works, then maybe BB's blood does work. No offense. More venerable, I think, than old.
I'll bleed to put this thing down. Does that seem like the best idea on the table?
Unless we want to go manhandle Meemaw, rather.
I take out one of the many knives on my person.
I hold out the
and,
jar.
Distribute a relatively generous amount into the thing.
If, after all, it's the intention that matters, it seems to me this ought to do the trick.
I nod. Well then, just need some new blood.
A recent arrival, somebody young.
Seems like either might work. Sort of tap my chin and look
At that point, probably we can reappear.
glass of water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lizzie, Silas, hope you're well. Sorry for the fright, Declan, but we're almost there, I think.
She nods. Yes, Silas explained the situation somehow better than it was explained to me.
Apologies for that, Declan.
I know it was a rushed and harried thing, but maybe next time you decide to take a knife to my paw, just give me some more warning.
I dearly hope there won't be a next time, but noted and sorry. Just looking for new blood, and I guess depending on how it's calculated, that could be, well, me or you, recent arrival or youngest of the family.
I'm happy to offer my blood if it helps.
I have a feeling it's going to be a little stronger connection, so that may be the way to go. We don't need much, couple drops.
She holds out her hand and cringes prematurely.
I sort of set the jar down, kind of take her hand and my penknife and go, just a little prick, Declan. 3, 2, prick her finger and, just a little bit, couple drops in the jar and then kind of rub it.
She hisses and grabs her shoulder as it happens, but puts on a brave face otherwise.
I try to give her the most sympathetic look I can and then kind of straighten up and say, all right, well, we got to get this show on the road. Daylight's burning. We got a circle to draw and an altar to find.
Well, that last part won't be too tough.
Suppose not, I say with a little bit of chagrin. And in terms of the circle, I kind of look over at Laura Lynn if she's still in evidence, since she had the chalk.
Mm-hmm. She's still hanging out in the groom's lounge, so she is around. She's kind of skulked off to the side, arms crossed, the same dour expression on her face as she watches you go about your work. And upon, I assume, being requested for the chalk, she hands it over. It seems apt to crumble at any moment. Its magical use now expended, but
Yeah.
you have a plain piece of chalk.
That is all I think we required for this. So I'll kind of look around at everybody and say, all right, well, let's go to this altar and get started. And
Isn't this going to mean traversing a place that's pretty cicaded?
Nah.
they were resetting up for the
That's
In the
right.
hall.
They were setting
yeah,
it
in
up
the hall.
inside.
So that's where I was going.
Appreciate the reminder. Okay. Okay. The
Don't
many
worry, you
plans
will
I
not
made
be
to
in
get us through
bugged.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
this
gonna
is not a
prevent us
place
from
that is
being
cicaded.
I was getting ready to
Um,
ribbons of darkness this sucker, but it won't be necessary.
Mhm.
The only thing you may have to do is relocate the wedding guests that are currently occupying the main entry, but that's a no small matter.
I figure we have a hero of the Revolutionary War with us, and he can handle that.
Yes.
So, I'll try to kind of shepherd those participating down to the. It was like in the foyer, right? That they were setting this up. Yeah, so down to
it's in the foyer.
And
the base of the stairs.
Maybe see if Baby, if you could get us some space, maybe clear the guests out. Use your, and I say this with some emphasis, charm to disperse the folks. I can get started on this edge of it. Cladwell, much as it pains me, maybe can help with this, as you seem to have a little more esoteric knowledge than I would have guessed. And then we got to get an incantation. It ain't my strong suit, but one thing at a time. So with that, I'll head over to the altar, leaving BB to cajole folks however he might wish to.
So I'll basically be a wingman of the hero of the revolution. I'll use encouragement as an ability, which allows me to ease allies within a short range if they're doing something that I myself am trained in this case, leadership.
Brilliant.
If that's the case, then I may just wander over and yoink the chalk out of Fielding's hand and start drawing a circle with, all the appropriate lines and so on.
Sure. And I'm going to, take in the jar and arranging the items sort of on gut instinct. Maybe, a couple things go in one place and then I think better of it and kind of rearrange them a little bit.
Unbeknownst to you, you managed to arrange them in alignment with the cardinal directions.
I just see me stepping outside, assuming that I survived this whole thing, stepping outside at the end of the session and realizing that and going, I'll be.
So let's go back to clearing the guest. I'm going to make you roll an intellect. It's going to be eased because you're assisting with your training, correct?
All right.
Cladwell and BB.
Oh, yeah. 5.
Rolled a 2.
I do have an edge of 1.
I do.
Thankfully, it was a simple task. So, with both of you and your relative gravitas, you're able to get the attention of those gathered in the foyer. And at first, it takes a little while to get all the murmuring and frenzy to stop, but you have their full attention. What do you tell them to do?
So as I stepped into the room, all of the grim expression and hard lines of my face just kind of dissolve into an easy going nature and just like, folks, if I could have your attention, please. Just kind of tapping on a nearby champagne glass. I know that this has been a very strange day, but worry not, everything will be put to rights soon. If I could just get folks to clear the hallways, please. We could use some space and time to put the events of today back on track. I do believe that there are refreshments available in the sitting room, so if you could just follow me this way, if you kindly.
I'm punctuating this probably entirely unnecessarily with things about our noble heroes in this great nation. Basically, I'm with veteran.
They listen. Some gather their things. Like it's clear that they're looking for someone to direct them in this rather harrowing time now that the wedding preparations have all been established again, to distract from the ruckus of the cicadas still screaming outside.
Yeah.
And in due time, you find yourselves alone in the foyer.
All right.
This is that point as a GM where I'm going to warn you. If you have any experience points that you're interested in using, I would encourage you to do so. Or if you don't have enough, that's fine too. But any last things you want to take care of before a potentially dire situation emerges?
A fully out of character question would be, is there anything to be done with 2 experience points?
That's a great question.
I think all you can really do with that is nullify a GM intrusion when they come up, which is what I'm hanging on to my 2 experience points
okay.
for.
Or you can also spend experience points on re-rolling any roll, which may come in handy
That too.
too.
Good deal. Thank you for the reminder.
You can
think
get
I'll,
a short or medium, short-term skill or medium-term skill for 2 experience points. But I think that would require some planning or pontification.
Yeah, I think I'll keep them in my back pocket for if the dice don't be with me, which is far from impossible.
So
Yeah.
I have a quick logistical question. The language that I have written down for my cipher that I got at the beginning of the first episode is that when crumbled, the Gift of the Green gives you an asset in all tasks relating to the green, strength of 5. Is that for like the next thing that I do, or is that for like a duration?
That's a great question. Let me look that up again.
Sure.
Oh, so it's a number of hours equal to the cipher level. So,
Okay, so like 5 hours.
Yeah, that's
of,
good.
okay, yeah.
That's a pretty significant buff. Yeah.
Cool. Then
So an asset would ease any task related to the green by 1 step.
cool. So I'm gonna kind of be muttering, I guess, to Silas. Well, we gotta incant something. Should be simple, something forceful, related into what we're trying to do. Easy to repeat. So probably not too long. Oh, thinking something about Back to the Darkness might actually be to its benefit. Thoughts, Silas?
Is this audible?
Well, I
or
guess
no?
it depends on how close you are to the altar. I had in mind that I was doing this while you were
Fair.
clearing out the room, but certainly you can come up during this process at any point because I'm not going to come up with anything in the next 10 seconds.
I mean, out of character, I've got a suggestion, but it is rather silly.
We support.
When
silly
has that
things.
stopped us? We just wrestled an old man to the ground for his blood, seemingly pretty unnecessarily.
Seemingly.
Say it. We can always cut it if we decide it's too silly.
To stop this trouble, and on the double, to protect the land from ruination, to bind this snake within brumation. Something, something, something.
That's brilliant. Looks like Appalachia's blasting off again.
I, out of character, and certainly Ed in character, are unlikely to come up with anything superior as an incantation. It left to Ed's devices, our incantation would probably be get.
I mean, if intention's what's important.
Honestly, I love that.
Go on, get.
Step on snack.
I saw a sticker that had a boot on a snake with the caption, "This is precisely what I asked you not to do."
That's a variation I haven't seen before. That's great.
That's very good. That's very good.
Any suggestions people want to make? I as Ed am going to be over by the altar getting more and more frustrated with my attempts to come up with a good incantation until I arrive at something along the lines of, get be gone, you ain't wanted none.
Repent, serpent.
This was I can say this on air unabashedly, but I left the incantation intentionally vague as a gift to myself for this precise purpose.
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
So yeah, if any of our more erudite characters wish to contribute.
Go to sleep, evil snake.
Go to sleep, evil snake.
I'm gonna, sort of in my frustration, huff and pull out the Gift of the Green, kind of regard it, and then crumble it so that I will have its, assistance for what is to come.
Yep. So for the next 5 hours, you have an asset and anything related to the green.
To say, I know she said it didn't have to rhyme, but I keep on coming back to bound and in the ground. Is that anything?
I'm scribbling in my little notebook as you're all saying this ridiculous stuff. Tongue stuck out and the trying really hard face.
So Cladwell's face.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'm also sort of checking with the thing behind my eyes and waiting for it to disapprove, or indeed reveal anything about how it feels about what we're doing. When I reach for words, it's what I reach for.
I'm not going to make it that easy. The encounter with the Witch Queen has somehow caused it to retract, and it ignores your request. You have a feeling that it would not approve of what you're doing if you had its full attention.
Thing called itself the Swarm, is that right? Swarm. Copperhead. It said, I don't know, swarm be bound, consigned to the ground. I don't know, it's short enough, punchy? Does it work? I don't know. Damn it.
I will shrug and you sounds reasonable, but words ain't my area of expertise.
We gotta tell it what it is it's releasing. Something about a coiled round, this fertile ground. Now be gone. Go on. That's terrible.
Withhold thy venom from these veins, and feed no more upon the pains.
I think that's the best we've come up with so far. Of course, I guess, too, are we circumscribing it, or are we trying to dissolve this thing? Because I think those are two different objectives. And
we can't break the deal, or there will be some bodies on our hands, I believe.
That was where I was going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose we don't want it to withhold venom.
Yeah.
As it were.
Just,
by this blood, you shall be bound.
So go to sleep in the ground?
Withhold your ire from these grounds. I don't know. It doesn't have to rhyme, but it's easier if it does.
Just feels more magical.
Does make it catch in the memory a little bit more.
I point at Cladwell and realize what I'm doing.
We've got something here.
Yeah.
And again, it's intention that matters. We're not trying to write great poetry.
Good.
Short and sweet.
I mean, out of character. Speak for yourself. In character.
Some
leave
of
it
us
alone.
can't help being poets, of course.
I mean...
Well, then I suppose combining these ideas, it would be, you coiled round this fertile ground, by this blood you shall be bound.
I nod as though it hurts me physically and say, I think that's about as good as we're going to get, Cladwell. All right. Well,
now before we get started, one last thing that I'd like to do
you should reload that pistol, yes.
Reload the pistol, which is just now after the next few hours finally come and due. And
like Chekhov item.
One more pack. All right. It's all good for a second shot. I'd like to use one of my, I think, 3 experience points. So one of the experience points for Magic Surge to reactivate that same artifact, the tarot cards, the deck.
Excellent. Okay.
The deck of several things.
What several things are you going to become?
I don't know. It might or might not be the same effect.
Let me pull up that page. Okay. You can roll a d6.
This time I rolled a 1.
You're going to become a creature again.
Oh.
So I'll let you sift through the deck, as it were, to find a creature of your choosing and what ability that creature will grant you.
All right. Well, this won't be the first time BB has cheated at cards, so he uses some sleight of hand to just kind of surreptitiously use some nearby silverware to see what's underneath the deck and selects, what kind of a creature eats a snake? Is it an owl or an eagle or
a secretary bird?
A secretary bird.
Secretary bird. I don't know if they were discovered at this point. in time,
They're
but
certainly
yes.
not native to Appalachia.
No, they're not. A few things will eat a snake, but yeah, your bird of prey is a pretty safe bet.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see if I can see within the reflection of some silverware on the underside of the deck some bird of prey.
You think you see something definitely raptor in shape and pull the card. And you pull out a red-tailed hawk. It's hastily drawn and immediately brings to mind the lacquered skull that Ed had presented to Lizzie early on. But you can tell what it is because of the bright red tail and buffy chest and stern expression. And as you stare at it, you feel your own brow deepen and your eyes become equally stern. Now, what ability do you sense this card giving you?
I mean, I'd like to think that given the sharp beak and talons of this bird of prey, that perhaps my own weapons become sharper in sympathetic resonance with this creature.
I think
For
that's a fair
some
assumption.
extra damage, perhaps heavy damage from a medium weapon.
I
or
think that's
something
fair.
of the-
So your medium weapon now provides heavy damage, so that's 4 points instead of 3 points of damage if you're able to strike, if memory serves.
Okay, yep. So let's see, I've got several weapons that all have 2 points of damage by nature.
I want to
Is that-
fess up to the listener because there was some table talk that occurred off air over this, that typically the creature's abilities don't apply to combat. But however, because you're drawing it specific for a combat that might prove to be difficult, I figured I would extend this boon.
Yeah. And I'm very grateful for it, because this void snake just pretty much laughed at us when I tried to shoot it before. So, okay, so my weapons usually do 2, and now they'll do 4. Is that my understanding? Is that correct? So, thank you, and I think that I am ready for whatever happens next.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other preparations need to be made before you begin the ritual?
I unlimber my bow and knock an arrow, leave it slack, for the time being. But I'm kind of, I guess, unsure about if this thing is going to come from the front door or from the study. So just kind of looking around, and then take a deep breath and ask if folks are ready to get started.
Yeah, I would propose, folks, by the way, I don't know whether this will work upon the first incantation and this whole nightmare is over, but if it doesn't work the first time around, I suggest we just keep chanting it.
The Witch Queen did mention that it would not work
Yeah.
at all until the creature is weakened.
Yeah, so we're going to be repeating it, I think, the whole time. Be
Mhm.
ready to do it while you get snake bit or hear flintlock shot or screaming or whatever.
In character, I hype myself up for some real oration. In mechanical terms, I'm using Hear Me Now, which is one of my speaker skills, which means for the next hour, anyone who hears me speak knows that I'm someone to be listened to.
That's a handy thing to activate.
So
Handy thing to have.
yeah. If we're ready, then I suppose I kind of briefly close my eyes, take a deep breath, and kind of seek whatever connection I have to the green to kind of keep in the forefront of my attention, kind of, draw on it, send my attention to it as I try to, kind of get the incantation started. Because no sense in waiting around until we get cold feet or run out of daylight. So I kind of raise my voice, holding my bow in front of me, and say, "You coil round this fertile ground, by this blood you shall be bound." And, hope that everybody else joins in as I continue to repeat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I add my voice to the chorus. You coiled round this fertile ground. By this blood you shall be bound.
At first, nothing happens, but the more you repeat it, the more you feel your voice take on an added resonance, as though the foyer has become a hollow space, an echo chamber. And if you added blood to the bottle, you feel heat spread from the source of the wound as the spell begins to work.
Something's coming, I say.
I nod in acknowledgement, but can you continue to repeat the incantation?
I join in.
Pull my...
The sound starts to compete with the screaming of the cicadas outside that almost have taken on a rhythmic attribute matching the syllables of the incantation, and also the echo of your powerful incantation itself. It's so soft at first that you're not sure that you quite hear it. But as you repeat the incantation, you incline an ear. You realize you hear something rustling. Sounds papery, almost. It's hard to place where it's coming from.
Head on a swivel, a little bit of tension on my bowstring out of just anxiety, not out of conscious thought, and try and spot whatever's coming as soon as it makes itself known. But otherwise, maybe just get a little louder or more forceful with my repeating of the incantation.
As you get louder and more forceful, the rustling gets louder and kind. The door to the study slams open, revealing a darkness beyond.
I would
But
like...
it's not
When the door to the study slams open, I would like to meet it with a hammer.
the door to the study or
I would like to hammer the darkness.
You would like to hammer the darkness. Okay.
Silas is the perfect man for that job.
I appreciate your resolve. You swing your hammer and it passes through empty air. The darkness is not physical.
Had to try.
It was worthwhile.
Mostly it was funny.
Yeah. So because you're up front now, you're the first one to realize as you're raising your hammer from the ground where it collided with after the force of a blow expecting to find purchase on something it does not. A pair of familiar shoes. And your gaze slowly raises to some finely pressed but strangely deflated looking pants, up to some preacher's robes, the white collar, and then up to the malformed papery husk of Father Atticus, suspended like a marionette by shadowy serpents, a too wide jaw moving and splitting ever wider with each use, revealing not just fangs, but too many teeth dripping in viscous venom.
You should get that checked.
Good.
The laughter you hear is more like a hiss as this malformed puppet staggers from the study. And now I'm going to have everyone roll initiative. As a reminder, in this case, you're rolling against the target difficulty, which I won't share, but if you get above or below it, you may glean some information on what that number is. If you roll higher than the target difficulty, then you go ahead of this NPC. If you roll lower than the target difficulty, then you go behind it.
I rolled a
And I
19.
Well, yes, needless to say, you rolled ahead of it.
14 over here.
14, okay.
17.
10.
Dang. Okay, so Dez gonna be up first in this case.
This time, I would like to actually hit the thing where the thing is Father Atticus, like sort of where one of the snake strings meets the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be a might roll. And I am going to ease it twice through effort. So that will be 4 points because I have an edge of 1.
Okay.
Taking me down to 11 on the pool, and I rolled a 15.
Excellent. So that will hit. You manage to, you're hitting one of the strings holding up Father Atticus. And even though it looks like this is bound by shadow, you're surprised to feel your hammer glance off of something with substance in those shadows. The left side of Father Atticus goes limp. Well, you also notice something interesting. It hisses at you, and as it does so, some of the shadows start to rip towards the bottle on the altar where you've set it up. It's starting to bleed into the altar, if you could call it blood. The snake goes next.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I said it was going to be difficult.
I believed you.
I also believed you.
It's going to... Father Atticus opens his maw wide, and a swarm of black pulses out from that terrible maw. It takes you a moment to recognize them as those dark cicadas that had
Evil cicadas!
burst from his form after consuming him. And they streak towards you, Des, since you're closest.
And since I hit it?
Yeah, since you hit it. I'm going to have you roll a defense and let me know the result.
And is that going to be might as well, or?
It will be might.
Okay. That's a natch.
That's a nat 20?
Yeah.
Hot damn. Okay, so they're going to get a special effect on this too.
Can I parry the cicadas?
Sure.
With a hammer.
Yeah, so it's going to have a major effect. The cicadas swarm towards you, and you raise your hammer almost defensively, but accidentally activate your push ability without meaning to. So it's as though you were pushing aside this great swarm of black cicadas. With your hammer alone, they swerve and splatter onto the ground next to you.
Oh, I love this.
Stunned, their bodies bouncing off of the ground before kind of rejoining themselves and taking flight again.
I love this, Robin.
Adam?
Yeah, do I have a reasonably clear shot at the Atticus marionette?
I'll say you do. You're probably longer range at this point,
Sure.
But it is a clear shot. You've managed to position yourself so you would not possibly hit Silas in the process.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, trying to avoid that. Arrow to the back never improved anybody's day. I'm going to ideally be able to... The way I'm conceptualizing this is that just... like the shadows seem to be doing Atticus as like a marionette, I'm assuming that whatever's mouth has been placed behind his is like kind of back there. So a perfect shot here would be directly into his mouth. I'll take hitting any part of it. Obviously, it depends on the roll, but you know, my idea is to fire like down the gullet if I can.
Okay.
So let me roll a speed there. This is I'm going to do this one without effort. Save my low pools for when I need them. That is an 18.
That hits.
All right. So the bow does 4 damage.
Doing great. The old copperhead lets forth a wrathful shriek that's somehow muffled by the arrow that now juts out from that terrible maw. You can just see the fletching emerge. And black ichor starts to leak from it also streaking along the ground as though drawn by an unseen force into the bottle.
I recite the incantation yet again, this time with the intonation of a trash-talking battle cry.
I love it. Drew?
I think I need to make sure that the bottle doesn't get disrupted. So I think I'm actually going to do Ribbons of Darkness, or try to, on the bottle, which would slow down anyone trying to interfere within the diameter around it. I'm well aware that the shadow is giving me the silent treatment, let's say. So I'm not sure how this goes, but I'm going to try.
Your eyes darken. You don't feel the shadow presence acknowledge you, but the altar does become obscured by shadow. And you have the sense that if something were to go for the bottle, it would be a little bit more challenging.
I imagine that I see the words form around the bottle in physical shape as I say it. By this blood you shall be bound. The letters become a darkness.
But yeah, they suddenly take form in the shadows themselves. Something darker than darkness appears, almost like blue embers appearing. Nick?
Given my training in understanding magic, would I intuit that this darkness that's kind of gravitating towards the altar, is that the snake trying to pollute our ritual, or is that snake being unwillingly bound into the magic of exactly what we're trying to do?
I'm going to have you roll for that. Intellect, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd like to add an edge to that. So I spend 2 points, and I rolled an 8.
You're not sure.
Understood. Next case, I'd like to spend an experience point, leaving me with just 1 left, to call a nearby presence, in this case the cicadas, representing the green, to offer some protection from the ritual that we're trying to enact here, some kind of empowerment and keeping out the influence of the snake if it does try to pollute what we're trying to do.
Okay. And you're going to spend an experience point to activate that ability?
Yeah, to activate the nearby presence ability, and specifically calling out its ability to protect something that's going on here, at least for the time being.
Nothing happens immediately, but you hear the cicadas crash against the front door with renewed intensity.
Of course they'll help keep the thing out.
Let us in.
And that brings us back around to the beginning. Dez, you're up again.
I'll hit the other shoulder. Can I attempt to also, use magic at it through this?
Let me know what you want to do.
I mean, specifically, I do not understand magic, so I just want to put extra force in it that would affect the spiritual stuff.
Okay. Roll and we'll find out what happens.
Cool. I'm going also to ease this 2 again.
Ease it 2? Okay.
Yeah. That time I rolled a 12.
Equal to or higher than succeeds.
Excellent.
So you aim for the other shoulder. This time, it doesn't make a sound so much as a feeling of a thrumming vibration that travels up the handle and kind of rattles you to your core. The other side of Atticus goes slack. His arms fall uselessly to his sides. There's another hiss of frustration as your blow strikes true. And the added force you add behind it causes Atticus to be blasted back into the study. The shape vanishes into the darkness.
Well, it may have caused us new problems. That is also out of character.
Sure.
And an unholy shriek emerges from the study. Everyone's going to need to roll intellect.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That's my lowest, too.
Jesus, I rolled a 1.
If you've got some XP
I
to
rolled a
reroll
2.
something, that's one of the things you can use
You know
for.
what?
Use it
I'm gonna
for,
do
right?
that.
Yeah, I
I'm
would
gonna
do that
spend an
because
XP
a failure
and,
will not be good for you.
Yeah,
noted.
with
All right.
with a 7, I will also spend my soul XP to re-roll that shit.
Okay.
I will spend my remaining XP to.
A 19 is much better.
Oh, thank God, I got a 3. That's one higher.
I'm looking at a 3, so I'm going to use one of my 2 XP to reroll that, because, boy, it's boom or bust here on this die. A 16 is much better than a 3. I'll take it.
An 11.
So 2 11s, and then what did you get, Adam?
A 16.
I got a 19 the second time around.
Des, you're the only one that's not affected
Jesus
by
Christ.
Oh, what the fuck?
this.
Good luck
Tournament
soloing
well
boss.
spent.
The rest of you freeze and fear. Whatever plagues yourselves the most comes to the foreground. Whatever outcome from this conflict terrifies you comes to reality in your mind. So instead of your turn, you're going to skip an action if you're frozen in fear. We're going to hear what it is that you see unfold before your eyes, starting with Adam.
I was afraid I was going to be first.
Yeah, we're going in the same
no, I
order.
figured.
Well, yes, but I think he was also specifying his fear out of character.
Oh, yeah. That's your out of character fear. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that what unfolds before my eyes is okay. So out of character, the thing I'm kind of trying to use a point of reference here is if you've seen the movie Big Fish, there is a town in that called Spectre. That is like all gold and green, and it's like constantly twilight and everything. They don't even wear shoes. And I'm seeing the outside of the manor through that filter, and I am, essentially seeing the continuation of this bargain, which will be symbolized by, on the one hand, the picturesque prosperity, and on the other hand, by like a sea of blood with bones floating in it, kind of rising around, the hill and the bluff, and as it rises, I'm seeing myself and Lizzie and maybe a couple of other townsfolk floating face down in it. Probably also, just to make it really terrible for me as Ed, I am seeing Libet's tail hanging from a nail on a post of the veranda.
That's so sad.
It's supposed to be.
I know.
It's the
That's
assignment.
true. I know. Oh, not live it.
So yeah, I'm rigidly holding my bow. The arrow that I was knocking probably falls to the floor as I sort of experience this vision of terror that I paid 1 XP to see.
Am I next? Yeah. Voices I recognize and voices I half recognize are screaming until they stop screaming, and this repeats endlessly, but I'm not there precisely. I'm hearing this from within a cave. Everything is happening outside of it. I'm a small boy again, and I hear those who I consider friends, whether or not they consider me friends, dead or dying. I don't have a way out, and I look down, and now I'm an adult, and I still don't have a way out, and I still don't know what's happening. The shadow won't speak to me. The darkness won't speak to me. The green won't speak to me. And then I look down again, and I'm an old man, and I still don't know what's happening. And I realize that I never will.
BB.
I see the the lustrous black scales of the snake as it slithers and rushes through the room, devouring my compatriots as it goes. There are screams cut short from outside of this room of those whose blood we used for this ritual. The cicadas go silent as this creature grows and grows and grows, and I feel the sharpness of fangs inside of my own mouth as I become the very tyrant that I sought to overthrow.
Ooh. That brings us back around to Silas, the only one that is not frozen by these fears.
I hit it in its mouth. Actually, no. What I do is I, billiard snooker the club end of it into the mouth and push. Only easing at one point because I'm running out of my might pool.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Nope. Really don't. Nat.
Holy cow.
I promise I am not fudging these dice.
I believe you. You're it's
On a
working
roll,
out well
so to
because
speak.
it's making me feel like this is less of an impossible task. So you take the blunt end of your hammer, shove it into that gaping, horrible mouth filled with black ichor, and push. As you do so, you feel that reverberation again. And it doesn't quite make sense until you realize that this thing is armored. You're hitting it, but you're not hitting it as hard as you think. And just as you have that thought, you feel something give a smidge underneath the hammer. And the figure that was once known as Atticus, or what is left of Atticus, falls backwards. Doesn't really stop him. Fortunately, snakes don't understand how human bodies work, and even though it was upright and a good approximation of walking when you first encountered this thing, the front arms pass through the legs, the spine contorting in a way that is unnatural, and it begins to crawl back towards you.
I will just sort of call out as because I am not aware, as if they are actually also still in this fight for the moment, and say, it's armored. Can someone deal with that? Fielding?
Do I hear him?
You start to come out of your fear right as he says your name. And it takes you a moment to realize exactly what it was that preceded it. You realize you heard it all. You were struggling to pick it out among all the other voices and screams that you heard in your vision. So yes, you hear it, but it takes you a moment to process.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, old Copperhead, or rather, Atticus, and that terrible contorted maw that now is impossibly emerged from the ground from a cruelly bent spine, attempts to bite you, Silas.
Well, we can't be having that now.
You're going to roll a might defense.
Okay.
You have a major effect from your nat 20, though, which I'm intentionally reserving for the outcome of this, because the first roll you're doing is to see whether or not the bite
18.
takes effect. 18?
Mm-hmm.
You, at the last minute, leap aside, avoiding the snap of those jaws on empty air. And you see that mixed in with the black ichor is a noxious green. You nearly avoided becoming envenomated yourself.
That would not have been ideal.
But that's just an observation. It's not the major effect. As the jaws snap, you're able to swing again, and without damaging or causing further injury to Old Copperhead, you manage to shove him into the center of the room. He's not completely fit inside of old Atticus like a worn-out marionette puppet. There's a writhing mass of shadowy tendrils and tentacles that you can see, not immediately behind Atticus, but as a shadow on the ground beneath him, moving his feet from below. Despite that unerring, shadowy suspension of that worn-out husk that crumbles with every movement. Ed, we're back to you.
Am I still incapacitated by visions of terror?
You're shaking it off.
All right. In that case, I think my response is going to be, and I'm going to try to perform this rather than just stage direct it, to resume the incantation, with the affect of cussing bitterly in the most colorful way I know how, as I try to take another shot. The mouth seemed to work fine last time, so if I roll as well, that's where I hope to put my arrow. So I kind of shake it off, get my bearings, draw the string, say, "You coiled round this fertile ground, by this blood you shall be bound!" And I let fly the arrow, and I roll, and I get a 5. So.
Yeah, the arrow arcs wide and lodges in the wall just a bit above the doorway to the study. You may realize that Paul's gonna resent that later if he's alive.
I certainly don't in this moment, because I'm mad that it went wide, and I'm mad because I know it went wide because I was too busy emoting.
Cladwell?
I guess nothing too special. I take a shot at it with my flintlock pistol. I am aiming for the same gullet that the arrow hit the first time around. That's a speed roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
No edge here. 17.
Misses, but just barely. You see a little bit of Atticus's, what's left of the matted mess of his hair, kind of moving in the wind left in the bullet's trace. Let's just say for flavor, it takes a little bit of the ear.
Mm-hmm.
So what it sounds like is our target is 8.
It sounds that way.
So that was useful as far as sounding, if not hurting the fucker.
So prior to this, I feel like we had plausible deniability on there being something untoward going on in this way, but then we fired a flintlock, and now everybody in the house is like, what in tarnation's going on in there?
It's celebratory gunfire. Pew pew.
Indoors.
Shaking free of this venomous delusion, I would like to draw forth a throwing knife, sharpened with the talons of a predatory bird, use my sight beyond sight to try to suss out the weakest point to hit at. I see the unseen, and let loose a dagger, applying effort with no edge on speed, presumably.
Okay. Yeah, that would be speed. It's range.
With all of that, I roll a d20, yeah?
Yes.
19.
Excellent. Okay, so there's going to be a few things that occur here because that is within the range of a major effect, or minor effect, excuse me. I made a mistake earlier by not offering this up to Des. You get to choose either a minor effect or add damage.
I'll take the effects every time. Those
Okay.
are fun.
That makes me feel better because you've gotten the effects, but baby, that choice is now yours.
I will go straight for damage.
Okay. So that's going to be, how much does your throwing knife?
Yeah, supernaturally enhanced, it does 4.
Okay, that's right. And then, nice. That is a solid hit. Atticus, or what was once Atticus, staggers. The arms and legs bent strangely as they are kind of splay out and the torso collapses to the ground. You hear another hiss, and the pull of the shadows towards the bottle has increased in rate. We're back to you, Silas.
I'm not gonna stop hitting it now. Actually,
Are you going to stop hitting it?
I'm gonna try and hit it in a particular fashion. That is to say, I'd like to try to use push to break its armor.
Okay. You can try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went for the head because I didn't really hear you say there was armor. You know this, though. Yeah.
I am trained in using magic for whether or not that affects things. And I will ease it once. That is a 19.
Nice. So you're aiming for the armor. As you swing, you realize that the armor, it's a snake. It's the scales covering it from head to toe, if you can use something so plain to describe the writhing mass in front of you.
From tip to tail?
From tip to tail. So your blow hits. You can choose a minor effect or added damage.
I think I'd like to have the minor effect be a localized weakening of the armor, if that's permissible.
I'll allow it.
Father Atticus, after all, is not scaled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you swing towards the head after sizing up the situation a bit. And you almost feel the scales around the top of the head give way underneath your hammer as you hit. This draws forth a yowl from Old Copperhead. The force of the blow causes the mouth to slam shut, possibly on its tongue. And it glares at you. So how much damage does your...
Does 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have the sense that the armor is now weakened by 1.
Cool.
In this head zone.
Yeah.
But Atticus is still moving, glaring, and with you in its sights, the husk that was Father Atticus begins to peel.
Ew.
You.
Ew.
Yeah.
And what's now the exposed head of this great and terrible serpent lunges at you and tries to bite again.
Yep.
So might defense.
Yep. Don't think I have the available effort to
Yeah, I think your pool's...
Oh no. I will take myself down to 1 in my pool. Ease it one
Okay.
step. And get an 18.
You manage to avoid the lunge and the snap yet again. You hear something that sounds like a curse emanate from the entity at the center of the room as it wheels on the lot of you.
I'll just continue chanting.
Mhm.
I continue chanting, and between repetitions of you coiled round this fertile ground, by this blood you shall be bound, I say to the thing behind my eyes, thoughts? Anything?
You feel parental disapproval.
We're sorry, the party you're attempting to call is not available right now. Please try again later.
My mind immediately went to, not now, sweaty. I'm hiding from the witch.
We're back to Ed.
I believe so, yeah. I don't have a desire to get closer to this thing, even though using my hunting knife would make it more likely that I would hit it. I think I'm going to stick with the bow. I am not going to be doing as good a job dodging it, I don't think, as Silas is.
I've been doing improbably well, so
Yeah.
you know.
More or less my point. But yeah, I'm gonna take another shot. I guess a success would put me in the headular area for reasons of mouth aiming as well as armor cracking. I guess I am gonna go ahead. I have 1 edge in speed. I'm going to take my pool from 8 to 6 to ease it by 1 for this attack. Because, I mean, what's the pool for if not this fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. 15.
That hits. And that's 4
4
damage
yeah.
still. Mm-hmm. You draw back your arrow. You have only a heartbeat to aim before loosing it at the head where the armor is vulnerable. And just as you let loose, Old Copperhead whips its head around to stare at you, which results in the arrow plunging directly between what you think is its eyes. And as the arrow plunges into the depths of that vulnerability, darkness erupts. Shadows, dark cicadas burst, positively flooding the space, blinding you all almost, in a whirlwind of only dark. For a moment, that's all you see, until it abates and you realize that all of the shadows are swirling into the bottle at this point. The husk that was Father Atticus has collapsed. Mere clothing now, a bit of papery, what you assume was once skin, drifting in the way for the shadows. And the foyer falls quiet.
Probably not quite, because I am probably still chanting the incantation.
Yeah. Quieter compared to the
Sure,
tumult of
yeah.
shadows. There's still cicadas outside.
Also true. I guess, yeah, kind of catching my breath, other arrow knocked, continuing to chant, maybe slowly getting quieter as I wait to see if anything in particular is going to happen.
Yeah, I feel that vibe. So I guess chanting for a few seconds here, seeing if
I go
anything changes.
I stop her the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Excellent.
We were given
thought.
instructions.
Uh-huh.
I withdraw the ribbons of darkness so that you can do that unimpeded.
I will nod
You
at
feel
you as I do so.
resistance
Okay.
as the glass stopper lowers to the bottle, the last of the tendrils slurping into the mouth of the bottle, but with a thump, you manage to set it in place. And that's when you notice that the sound of the cicadas outside has shifted. They're no longer screaming. Just sounds like normal cicadas on the last thralls of the longest day of the year. And the pelting against the building has also ceased.
I'm going to take a couple of shaky breaths and then point at the jar and say, first off, thank you, Silas. Good presence of mind. You were incredible up there. Secondly, I move that we take this from the house, like right now, before anybody figures it out.
I am already doing it.
I frown, but follow you.
I will accompany him.
You go out the front door. There's still the last remnants of random cicadas launching themselves away from the building, almost making a noise and consternation as you approach them. The swarm or the brood that had clouded and blotted out the sun has vanished. The horizon towards the west is being painted an array of brilliant colors as the sun slowly sinks beneath the tree line. Who has the sight? Can you remind me?
I do.
Can you roll an intellect for me?
Yeah, happy to. And I'll spend another effort just in case. 19.
Oh, nice. BB, you think your eyes must be struggling to adapt to the darkness or the sun and brightness, I should say, because you see two women standing in the field facing the house. They must be sisters. They look remarkably alike, but they're dressed wrong. Aside from Ed, you don't really know any women to wear pants like those or materials like those. And just as you marvel over their strange appearance, one of them makes eye contact with you and then they vanish.
Very mysterious.
Unaware of this, I'm going to turn to Cladwell and say, I think that you will agree that the best thing to be done to safeguard that, and I point at the jar, is to take it into my neck of the woods away from folks that might want to use it, surrounded by an oppositional force, and try and hide it away.
I dare say of everyone in the world, you will be perhaps the least tempted. So, very well.
I'll take the proffered jar and kind of look at it and say, I think that probably needs to get done now. Pains me to leave before talking to Lizzie the gallows or thanking Laura Lynn or those who gave us blood for it, but I'm going to try and find some place safe for this before I sleep tonight. Could y'all convey my congratulations, my regrets, my sympathies?
Certainly.
Lizzie's voice shoots out from the house. She's standing on the front porch, knife out, eyes wild, skirts pulled up and then fastened into place in makeshift pants. And she shouts, "You really gonna leave without saying goodbye to me, Ed?"
Well, I was coming back. Just, I had to do this right away. I'm sorry. Ducklin, not anymore, no.
I heard gunfire and a whole lot of ruckus, and everyone was trying to keep me to hold in place. It took me a while to escape, but I was just coming to see if you needed some help.
I appreciate it. We actually, and I kind of gesture with the jar a little bit, I think we got it handled, and would have been a sight worse if and I just kind of gesture with the jar again, had a whack at you. So pleased with how it all turned out, but I appreciate you mightily. And well, I gotta get this safeguarded, but I'm glad it worked, and thank you for your help.
Paul seems fine. The rest of them seem fine. So it's done then. It's really over.
Seems to be, as long as no one
For the
gets
moment.
any ideas about. And I'll gesture with the jar again.
Well, seems I've got a wedding to cancel.
I try not to grin. Well, as soon as I got this secured, I can back you up on whatever you might need. I don't know how folks are going to feel about it after everything that's happened, but I don't think they could stop you when you put your mind to something anyway, Declan.
She nods, offering you a grin, and says, "Yeah, I'll come back. We've got plenty of food left over from the reception that would have been." And she's her knife.
I grin and nod. Couldn't keep me away, Declan. And I maybe make a little sound to call Libbet and try to extricate myself to go hide this thing quickly as I can before any of the other gallows see me with it.
Any other actions from the other players?
Nothing relevant to this. I offer to join Ed in safeguarding the thing.
I'll probably respond with, well, thank you very kindly for that, but I'm going to move much faster by myself. I suppose if I'm not
Fair.
back to partake of the feast, you got my permission to come looking for me, but should be. And in the meantime, can look after Lizzie, check on Amelia.
Absolutely.
You got good instincts for this stuff. Trust you.
You say to the person with a disability in social actions, which should have come up when I was dealing with Lizzie, but didn't.
It did kind
I was
of.
your instincts in this case are extrinsic mechanical motivations. So you concretely do have good instincts, even if your execution maybe.
Fair.
Yeah, so me and Libbet stride off into the woods.
I turn toward BB. I say, wouldn't have been any damn good back there without you. Thanks. My eyes are completely black, but you can still imagine I'm talking to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cladwell. You... God damn it, but you might have earned my vote.
I attempt to look gracious, but in fact my grin is ear to ear.
Somewhere a couple hundred yards into the tree line, I get irritated for reasons I couldn't put my finger on.
Yeah, so now I'd just like to seek out Amelia and let her know that the thing that's behind all of this. It's not dead, but it's been chained away, and that's about as close to we can get to justice today. Won't bring back the dead, of course, but maybe they'll rest a little bit easier.
Amelia nods gravely, her hands trembling and her eyes welling with tears. She hugs you.
I hug her back.
As I approach at about that point, I then back off.
I'd like to say that I see Silas there and kind of silently wave him over for a group hug.
Yeah. Amelia also offers him a big, hearty hug. Says, if you ever have need of anything, just have to ask, but I suppose I've got nothing left to stay here for, so be setting out at some point, probably by dawn. Hoping to make something of myself for Cassie.
Sure, she'd be proud of you.
So, old Copperhead is bound. The method of binding hidden away in the woods. You all gather in time and find that something of a reception has been set up. Even though the wedding's not taken place, there seems to be no bad blood. Both families just seem keen on shaking off the nerves of the day by listening to some good bluegrass music played by the Mud Puppy Pickers and heralding out the longest day of the year and hopefully their lives with some good food, good company, and good music. And it's hard not to get caught up in the celebratory nature of the thing. You each find yourselves hanging out with whomever you see fit. And I imagine you sweep Lizzie up in a dance or two.
Certainly. I'm terrible at it, but I do it anyway.
Silas and Nick, you both may continue to hang out with Amelia. And you realize that the servants really know how to party. A lot of them are planning on departing on their own, leaving this place behind. BB, you keep keeping glances of these two girls drifting through. Never enough for you to really quite trace them. They're usually out of the corner of your eye. And Cladwell, you see the Witch Queen hanging out at the edge of the woods. She gestures you over.
I hesitate, but only for a moment, and then I walk toward her.
I've been thinking about your predicament. And while I don't have the strength in me to help now, should you ever have the need, she hands you a piece of chalk.
I look at it, I look inward, I look back at the chalk, and I take it gratefully. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Very much.
And so the longest day of the year draws to a close. The sun finally settling behind not just the tree line, but the horizon proper. The first waltzes of fireflies starts to illuminate the blue mist of Appalachia. You may notice that the crops wilt. The rest of the festivities certainly don't. You might notice that the wildlife sounds a little louder. The cicadas, the crickets at night, the chorus frogs, the spring peepers. It's as though something has reclaimed this land. And that brings us back to my sister and I on this past summer solstice, surrounded by cicada song and a strange echo of a celebration long past. As the longest day draws to a close over our watch of what remains of Temple Manor, we think we see ghosts from time to time. One even makes eye contact with us, as though it can see through the veils of time to see what we ourselves are doing. And as the sun vanishes, we pass through what was once the proud-looking entryway into Timble Manor, now worn down to 3 slabs of plain marble. And standing on the grass where the ritual once occurred, we repeat those same words, once spoken by our kin, not our blood kin, but our chosen kin, ages long ago. You coiled round this fertile ground, by this blood you shall be bound. We run a knife along our palms, drip our blood into the soil, and to reinforce what binds the darkness beneath this place, that bottle that has long been lost to time and will never be uncovered again, except by hapless descendants of the Teasley clan in the future. And our deed done, we had but one more stop to make before we left this ancient home of our ancestors. The time we made it to the old river. Shape has changed over the years. There's no telling where Cassie made her sacrifice, where her hand plunged into the soil, where she said that prayer. But I sunk my hand into the silt anyway, and listened. The alarm-like, ear-ringing volume of the dual cicada broods eventually sorted themselves out, not into screams, but storytelling. Though those aren't my stories to tell. However, if you feel up to it, sit outside a while. Be still. Be respectful. Listen for that old summer chorus and what they have to say. We tried to overlook them, to silence them. But there's no erasing so many voices in these mountains that are older than bones. Can you hear them? And that's where we'll end our session.
That was excellent, Robin.
Truly.
Wonderful.
Good prose. Good fucking prose.
And that concludes this session of Dice Punks. Thanks for joining us. I hope our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did. Join us next time, won't you? If you're hearing us now, then you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and on co-host and Tumblr as @dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell. Say goodbye to the kind folks in our Dice Punks family, players.
Well, thanks for listening. Bye for now. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't fight for the outcome you want to see. You may not get it, but, it's always worth trying.
Thank you for listening, and I do hope that having secured the full-throated endorsement of a certain hero of the revolution, that I can count on your vote in a future election. I am suspending my candidacy at this time to think some things over.
Thanks for listening, folks, and if you're fast enough to dodge, then a hammer is absolutely the solution to a snake.
Thank you for listening. And hey, are you really using all of that blood?
And as the poet once said, when I vanish into a melody and never return, far gone, would you turn me into a cicada so I can finish your song? Some might only hear a humming noise, but if you know just how to listen, I promise you will hear my voice. Beloved listeners, thank you for tuning in. Stick around through the admin stuff for another Ode to Appalachia. The main theme for this one-shot, Older Than Bones, is by Robin Graves. It wouldn't have been possible, however, without Drew's kind use of his editing prowess and immense mixing skills. You can find links to Drew's work in our show notes, and you can find Robin by putting out 1 part pure cane sugar with 4 parts of water, and skipping anything with the red dyes. It's bad for hummingbirds. Be sure to clean your feeders routinely. Editing and our campaign's rad new cover art was done by Joanne, who has appeared on the podcast now and again. Check out her work around the internet, where she goes by Anything Sews. Site design and graphics for dicepunks.com, including the cover art for this one-shot, are by Robin. The Old Gods of Appalachia tabletop role-playing game is by Monty Cook, Bruce R. Cordell, and Sean K. Reynolds. You can learn more by visiting montycookgames.com. The Old Gods of Appalachia podcast is written by Cam Collins and Steve Shell and produced by Deep Nerd Media. Pay a visit to oldgodsofappalachia.com to join the family. Links to the system and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you've heard, that's reward enough on its own. But if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1.1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then remember, subtlety is for cowards. O hallowed, hallowed land, in your season of sun and shadow we bear witness to your roaring green furnace, the unfurling forest beckoning branches, riotous explosions of mountain laurel and rhododendron. And we forget ourselves. They say Eden was a garden. Nothing so sterile, so cultivated as a garden could make a paradise. We tore our true Eden's name from the tortured tongues of those who came before and called her Appalachia. And we did not heed when she cast us out. We endured beneath the searing summer sun and became ourselves a blight. No better than rotting leaves, a feast for worms and lurid exultation, or sickly sweet flesh peeling from bone beneath prayer-bowed heads of vultures. There is no greater church than that to which we are not invited, and no greater sin than this, making a garden of Eden.